today we'll be discussing classes, you know. You're able to see my screen, right?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So basically, like we already discussed, like these classes, see C++ is a
Mm-hmm.
object-oriented language. Object-oriented language. Okay, right? What do you mean by objects and all? We already discussed somewhat. Let me quickly recall. The object-oriented language. Like we make objects and like we use these to create other things, object oriented language. Like if I give you a real life example,
Mm-hmm.
suppose like you are playing game or whatever, like hi-fi games you play, right? PUBG and all, maybe
Yep.
Valorant. Okay, these games, suppose you have an known as like you click on fire and
Yep.
bullet shoots, right? So fire is a function. But is a function which calls and which is a method of n that person. So the this function calls and it triggers and it does the job, like it code runs for that. This
Okay.
is how like we make a human and its functions like fire. It may be run forward, move forward. So these are done with the help of these classes only. Like internally, it is implemented in like C++ or like any object oriented language. Suppose Java is there. Java is also object oriented language. So yeah, in both ways it works like. So yeah, like this is we discuss also like objects are instances of class. Like we use objects
Mm-hmm.
to like what to make functions or work on that. Like we work on objects and which are instances of class. Instances of class. Hmm. And then we have discussed some of the few things which are important in class. Like one is constructor. Let me just list out all the names. Constructor. One is destructor. One is member function. Member
Yeah. Okay.
member function. And okay, member function. Yeah. So this is the thing. Constructor we already discussed. Like it get invoked whenever the class is initialized, whenever the object is created, whenever object is created. Object is created. This piece of code runs. This is not exactly a member function, but you can call sort of a function. Like this also uh, works like that only. Okay. The destructor like whenever object are deleted, object, object is deleted. I already told you. Like we can manually delete it or programments, that is also means of deletion. So then that at that time also destructor will also be triggered. And member functions like whatever move forward, run, these are all the functions we make. Now the most important part is we will talk in today discuss in detail was access modifiers.
Yeah. Okay.
Access modifiers. What are these and why it's needed? Like because I already do it in I think in the first class only. Like what are
Mm-hmm.
these? How are these? What, why, and how? We will see of all the three parameters of these. So first of all, let's try to understand like why and what are access modifiers and why it's needed. So see, suppose like there's a bank account class, bank account
Okay.
class. Okay, and there is something known as password, and there is known as account number.
Okay. Okay.
Account number. Okay, like the bank password should be known only to the person only, right? Person who owns it. Who owns it. But like suppose something known as account number or suppose mobile number, it's still other people can also see it, right? There's no much harm in
Yeah.
that. So this because these are required for other documentation purposes, right? Can be visible to others. Visible. And can be used by others, visible to others.
Mm-hmm.
Like if they have obviously the authority, like if they have some.
Yeah.
But still, like it can be, but password should not be, right? Like nobody, bank
Yes.
also, bank members also should not have your ATM password, right? So
Yeah.
this should be always be private. Like this is something that something known as private, which is intuitive. Like these access modifiers is whatever we heard in everyday life is related to that. Like something known as private, something known as public. But there's in
Yep.
middle it comes up protected. This is which is new. Like this is like midway of this. So this protected. Like three types of access modifiers here. Access modifier means like we can control the data, like what we want to show and what we don't want to show. Like the literal meaning of like what is the use case of this? Or like we can control what we want to show, what we want to show or change. Like we members of a class, members of a class. Suppose I'll give an example.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this is like this. Like suppose we created maybe a bank class. Suppose yeah, class bank. And to define that, you in C plus how it works is like you have to specifically declare what you want to, what will the your access modifier, and like
Okay.
by default, if you don't mention anything, it is private. And what firstly, let's understand the meaning of all these and what we can accept. Okay,
Okay.
so
Okay.
let's try to go with private first. So let's try to with private first. What is the meaning of private? See, private means you can access members within the class only. Access the members. Like suppose you are creating some functions, right? And you are using a variable. Let's suppose you have initialized a variable known as int password.
Yep.
Okay, and you are making a function something known as change password, like void change password, change something like that. Like user want to change his password, okay, and suppose he give you a new password and new password. So what you will do, just password to new password. This is pretty much
Okay.
fine, right? Like we just change our password. This
Yep.
is the actual detail that we have currently, but we will use our methods to change these. So new password, it puts like that. But
Okay. Okay.
okay, this is something known as you can exceed. This is my member. This is my member, and I'm accessing inside the class only. Like I'm not accessing from the main.
Yep.
Inside the class, I'm accessing. So this I can do with the help of a private method. Like you can't go outside the class as well, and not inside to vary with the other files as well. So you can access only in the you can access the member inside the class. The class. This is the point number one. And obviously by default it is private only. By default is private is private. So yeah, like suppose now why I am setting password to private. Let's try to understand. Suppose a user you don't have that access now. Suppose the manager, any bank manager can use your object. Like suppose your Maurya, right?
Yep.
My spelling is correct. Like this is how I spell Maurya. Is it
Yes.
fine? Okay.
Yep.
So like suppose you have this object name and he invoked the method change.
Okay.
He can do like that. This is one method. But other thing also he can directly access. Suppose if he directly access your password, like password and set it to any arbitrary value, something like that. So this should not
Yep.
happen, right? This should not happen. This password should not be accessible by everyone. This should be private. Like you can access it, you can change it with the help of these methods because and in this method we will put some authentication which we can do that. But suppose if it is public, suppose it won't be feasible, right? Like he can easily
Yep.
change it. No authentication we can do it because it is a member of that. Okay, that's why here comes the private thing. You can access the member inside the class only. The class ends here, and after that, this is the main part. Okay, and that's something known as public. What does public means? Like you can access it anywhere. You can access all members within the file, like within the file, like anywhere
Okay.
within the, like, or you can say anywhere in the file. Like suppose you make a dot c file, dot c plus plus file, anywhere in the file. So suppose like yeah, something known as maybe, okay, call it, like don't take an example of bank account. Let's try to take something else. Suppose something is visible and something can change everyone, like okay, maybe like okay, I will give you an example, and I'm not able to recall at that moment, but you got my point, right? Like what is meaning of public? Like you can access it here, here. Like if I make it public, this
Mm-hmm.
password, so we can exit it in the main class as well. I will implement it also. Don't worry. Yeah. So basically,
Okay.
how to do that? We have to do like this: class, whatever, XYZ, and what you have to do, we have to write a keyword known as public here, and a double colon. And suppose I want to make password only public, so you can do that. Like whatever comes below it, right? It will
Yep.
be all public. So now you can access it here only, like dot using dot password method, you can access it. So yeah, this is known as public. It has also various use cases because it depends. So it depends on the entity. Like, or it should be public or should be private, or yeah, protected. What is the meaning of protected? See, protected we generally use. Protected is a midway. Do you know any idea of inheritance by the way?
Yes.
So you have idea. Cool.
Yeah.
So basically a derived class, base class, right? So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, like this is a base class and this is a derived class.
Okay.
Like what inheritance actually means, like you don't want to write the same piece of code again and again, so what you do, you derive some properties from the base class with the same all the same methods. So suppose a base class has a variable, maybe variable or member as x, and you set the class to be protected. So what you can do in all these hierarchical order, like all these classes which have all these classes which have a child parent relationship, or derived, all the derived classes, derived
Okay. Okay.
classes can use that, remember, classes can use that member of base class if you make it protected. Like any member, like any member can use that, okay? Or any derived class can use that. Let's say I made it protected, but you can't do it with the help of private. Private only this class only. If I made it private, so it will be specifically to this class only, not a derived class also can't use it. Okay. So
Okay.
this is like basics of what is protected, what is public. Let's try to see with the help of code also. Better. So let's try to write a code for that. It's lecture for it. So, CPP. CD. Okay, let's try to like we let's try to see the examples of. I am creating a vehicle class. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
vehicle. class. So yeah, this is how we initialize a class, and yeah. So I'm not giving anything in constructor, but still we should. It's a good habit to write the constructor part. If you don't write it, that's fine. But okay, we should write it. Always don't forget to write the semicolon here. Okay, so this is a constructor. This is our constructor. Constructor you don't need to write it always, but constructor you should write always. Okay,
Okay, okay.
but still I should show you how it should look like. This is our destructor. This constructor. Okay, constructor. Okay. Now let's try to define the members. Suppose like I define known as method as a forward. Not forward. Okay. Or maybe price of the vehicle. Maybe the price of the
Mm-hmm.
vehicle. Now by default I already told you this all these like suppose also I made a method void known as forward. 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 Let's define the direction like the coordinates of the vehicle also. The left, right, up and down. Left equals to 0. Initially, let's initialize with the help of 0. Like, initially, the car is at 0, comma 0. Let's say x and y only. We are representing a 2D car, okay? X and y equals to 0. Like, currently, the car is at origin. We can move it left, up and down, right, up, okay? So, if we move forward, so suppose the car, like, we do just y plus plus, okay?
Yep.
Now, let's try to see this all methods also are can be public or private. Okay, so I just these members also can be public or private. These method also are public and can be public or private. Okay, I didn't write anything here. All are here now are private. Let's try to see what it means. Like, can I access it here? So let's try to create an object vehicle vehicle v. Now let's try to access and what happens. Okay, okay, yeah. See, first of all, okay, this should be constructor should always be okay. Constructor should be public. Okay, constructor I am putting in public, and let's try to put everything private. Okay, these all are the you can write private as well. What's happening? Okay, okay, cool. I think this is not required here. Try to remove this. Yeah. Hmm. So yeah, let's try to remove this as well. So this is fine. Yeah. Now everything is private here. Like you can't use it. Okay, cool. I think yeah, like we have to make always the constructor as public. Okay, cool, cool. So you're invoking it. It is always invoked, right? So it should be public always, and
Mm-hmm.
all the other methods should be. I'm writing is private. Okay. Our object is created. This constructor is invoked. Nothing is there, so nothing will go. Now let's try to access this price. Can be accessed here? Like v dot price if I do is equals to 500. Oh, sorry, 500. I'm not able to do it. Price is inaccessible. Like I can't because this is a private method. Like private access modifier. So I can't use it here in the main. I can use it here. See, I
Okay,
can
okay.
I can set it something like price is equals to 800 in the within the class. But I can't use it inside the main class. This is not inside the main function, okay? But suppose like I've made it public. Public. Now there is no problem because I made it public. If I whatever will be like this method is also public becomes public. Suppose I want to make this method private, so you can again write it private, and this is how it works. So these three are public entities, and this method is a private entity. You can't invoke this method as well. Let's suppose it's try to do int forward. You can't do. It's not showing earlier. You see, if you want to just let's try it. Will it show an error? Forward we do forward. Yeah. So it's not like. Forward is inaccessible. Okay, like the function is we can't call it because it is inaccessible. Let's try to remove this private keyword. I think it should be fine. Yeah. So this is how it works. Like the how the public works, it depends on the use case, like what you want to do, or which thing you want to make it public, which thing you want to make it private. You can do that. Which you don't want anyone to access it, and this thing, okay, everybody can access it. So this is how you will use this access modifiers to control your data, what you want to show and what you don't want to show. Fine till here?
Yep. That's good.
Okay, cool. So this is more or less the access modifiers. Yeah, like this is pretty much fine. What else they discuss in your class?
And then classes.
And the classes
So
only. So
yeah, so
class.
like constructor, inheritance, all those.
So inheritance also they discussed.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Cool. So
So
classes, the constructor. Okay, it's already. I think we already discussed like how it works. But whatever. Let's try to see how it works. Let's try to run some codes as well. Right? Let's suppose this is code. This is the vehicle. Let's try to run it. So I haven't used anything here, but it the constructor will be called, and object is initialized. This is the vehicle is being called. Okay. So basically,
yep.
whenever I create an object, this piece of code will work. This is how a constructor works. The constructor name is same as the name of the class. Yeah, we talked about some methods. Let's try to use that getters and setters function, something like that also is very common. Let's suppose I want to set the price, like, so let's try to get there's something known as getters, and it's not like they are functions only, but they generally are
Hmm.
known as getters and setters. What does that mean? The getters means to get the value of something, because see, we'll make these element as private, and
Yep.
we'll make that methods as public, like to get the value, so that we can hold the data. Okay, so we suppose like I will make all the other methods as public. Like suppose I want to know the value of x, and I want to change the value of x. So suppose first of all, let's try to know the value of x. So get x. So this is a function, we don't need any parameter. Now you can just count the value of x. So basically, see, now in this context, what is the problem here? Okay, this is, let's leave it here. Yeah. In this context, this is private. I don't have a control over X. But suppose a user want to know the value of X. And now these have two methods. Either you can do like this, v dot x, but it's not possible because X is private. So instead, what we have done, we created a method, get X. So it
Okay.
will give me the value of X. This is the beauty of the X modified. I can know the value of X as well, but it's not need to be made public. We can set all the members private and methods is public, so that we can do anything you want. So let's try to see it as zero. I think we initialize at zero, so it give me zero. Cool. Now suppose same thing, we want to set the value. So yeah, void set X, void set X, and you gave a new value, like whatever, int y or whatever. Not y, you should give something a. Now you set x to a.
Hmm.
Okay. Now let's try
Yep.
to set it. Like v dot set x. We gave a value, let's say 10. Let's try to print it out. V dot get x.
Okay. Okay.
This is how we can get and set the value. We are not directly accessing it, but we have the control also. So first of all, it was 0 and it became 10 because we set it. Not directly, but with the help of member functions. Okay, cool till here.
Yep.
Okay, so we know this is something known as a getters and setters, like getting the value, the setting the value. Okay, cool, fair enough. So yeah, let's try to discuss the theoretical part of inheritance today. and then the coding part we will discuss it tomorrow or in the next
Sure,
class.
sure.
Okay. So we will be there. Actually, there are actually uh, inheritance and why it was required. Let's try to see that also. Inheritance. What it means, it's similar. Like what it is the intuition we think about inheritance, right? Like something
Yep.
inheriting from our family or any other person. It's same. This is same as inheritance. I think you have learned something in biology as well, chromosomes
Yeah.
or something like that. Sort of, yeah. The intuition is similar. So what it happens is like we have a suppose I will give you a good example. We have a vehicle class.
Okay.
Vehicle class. And now vehicle could be two wheeler like a bike or whatever scooty, two
Mm-hmm.
wheeler. But it could be a two wheeler or it could be a four wheeler or many more. I'm just taking a two example of two only. Two and four wheeler we can have. Okay, that's fine. But it have like what it have option it have like it's have some option as like move forward, apply brakes, start. But suppose there's something different as well. Are the like these methods are also in four wheeler also like forward, brake,
Mm-hmm.
start. But in four wheeler there is like maybe like there's something different. Some other there would be some distinction also. Like suppose we can say uh, opening the back seat. Opening the back seat is not there. Like open back seat
Okay.
is not available in four wheeler, right? Something like that. And four wheeler have something other than like airbag. It have open airbags. Open it. So these are the common parts. These are the like start, brake, apply brakes, move forward, move backwards, start, brake, forward. These are all the common terms. Like I wrote a vehicle class, and now there are two other classes, two-wheeler class and a four-wheeler class. And I apparently found that it have same on mm, many common methods like start, brake, forward. So why I need to write it that again? I can reuse that, right? These methods
Yep.
I should define in the vehicle class itself. Start, brake, forward, backward, whatever. Like these I can define in my base class only. Like this is known as the base class. We can say father base class, or if it is a if in terms of father child, this is a father or it's should be a parent. Father actually parent parent, and these are children. This is child one, and this is child two. What we are doing is we are not defining this method again in these classes. Instead, we will use these method directly in our classes so that it saves our time as well and it shortens the code as well because it is redundant, right, to write that code again. So
Yep.
this is how the basics of inheritance works. So yeah, this is like moving something, and suppose some other functions are there, we will write it separately. Like this is different, so we will write it. We will write in that class only. Write this in our child class. This in our child class. Child class. Like some specific methods are there which are not common. We will write it. Obviously, this method is can't be used by this person, and this method airbags open can't be used by a two-wheeler. So they can't use that. Child can't share the properties. Only whatever is defined in the base class or parent class can be used by the coming children. Now, could be a good big hierarchy as well. Like we can go from like this is a parent, this is the ultimate parent, and then you inherit from child one. It can go to many chains like child two. It happens in the real case scenario. It has a very much higher level of inheritance. Like child one also have a let's say grandchild or whatever, grandchild one, something like that. and this is how it goes on splitting. So this one can use his properties as well.
Okay.
Use
Okay.
use the ultimate parent properties as well. Ultimate or super parent, you can say ultimate. So, super parent properties as well. Properties as well. So like if I talk about the advantages, obviously code reusability. Code, like I'm not writing the same piece of code again and again. Usability, obviously time, safe. Also clean. It looks clean.
Yes.
Clean. And also suppose I made a change in the start. In the start, like suppose the vehicle starting a slightly different, but let us assume both two-wheeler and four-wheeler make same sound of starting. Okay, so up now a new sound comes in the market. Now I need to go to every class and change its sound. That would be very difficult. So what should I do? I should just change in the base class. All these classes, the sound will be changed. Because why? Because I am just accessing the same member from the base class, right? All
Yep.
the children. So it will be very convenient. We just need to change here in the base class, and all the child class will be hampered, and not hampered in a good way also and bad way also. Suppose someone just messes with the base class, so every class will be affected. So it should be very carefully. It should be used. Okay, so clean and like if easily changeable, easy change. We can make easy changes in the code. Easily, we can say like easily we can make changes in the code. We can make changes in the code. So yeah, like this is a sort of like inheritance, how it works. Like it's a parent-child relationship and how we inherit some properties from the. Let's try to get an example. The same class vehicle, it works. Now we also talk about the access modifiers, right? So I am using the keyword protected here because in the derived classes, if you want to access that methods or any member, you need to have the access. Either you set it to public, so everybody can use it, or either you can set it to protected. But the most, if you want in the derived classes only, use protected keyword. It will be better. So suppose I write a method as start, like void start, let's say void move move and what else, like whatever, like void apply breaks, and I'm not writing the description. Yeah, like we wrote something inside this function. Okay, and
Yep.
suppose there is a class, uh maybe a two-wheeler. We wrote that class. Now suppose I want a two-wheeler. Okay, now I can like directly we can just use this method start. Okay, just okay. This is created. Suppose I don't write anything here and I create an object of two-wheeler. So let's say maybe a scooty. So let's say I wrote two-wheeler, two-wheeler or s. Now I can directly write s dot start. I can
Okay.
directly access this function here in this code. I haven't wrote anything here, but since
Yep.
it is a child or parent-child relationship, and we inherit this from this class, so yeah, we can write this s dot start, and we can write s dot move. So this is like, but we have to make sure to remember this protected keyword to get the access, and yeah, we can use s dot start and all. yeah, so pretty much fine from here. Like this is how inheritance works, access modifier works, and something like that. So yeah, I think yeah, pretty much from today from my side. I think if you have any doubts for today, we can discuss. Yeah. So
Yeah, okay, okay.
fine. Like let me just quickly recap what we have discussed. This is what the previously already we discussed what are classes and why we needed it. Then constructor and destructor we already discussed. Now today we discuss access modifiers, like what and why and how they are. We can control what we want. And private. There are three types. There are first is private, public, and protected. Private private only what yeah, private only like within the class you can use, protected in the derived classes you can use, and public you can use anywhere in the file. So this is how and how it they works. So yeah, I think pretty much from side. So yeah, we will discuss more things